Kastro, the founder and CEO of Inveon. Thanks so much for taking the time today.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me.
So kicking it off, before we talk about how Inveon has responded to the COVID-19 pandemic, I want to get a little background of Inveon's business model. In short, you help companies build and scale e-commerce platforms. When you were founded, what problems or inefficiencies did you see in the Turkish e-commerce industry? And how do you address those problems through your services?
Thank you, William. First of all, this is my, I think, first Zoom interview during a pandemic period. So it's a definitely newer experience for me. To Inveon, Inveon was founded in 2006 when ADSL was newly introduced to the Turkish market. So at that time, only 14% of the population were internet users back then. And even the e-commerce market in developed countries was not nearly mature. So regarding your question, I wouldn't call the situation a problem because the market was so young. But there were definitely some important inefficiencies to address. First of all, many big corporations were still not aware of its upcoming explosion of e-commerce. Even for the ones who were aware, starting e-commerce was very complex and difficult. There were only some marketplaces at that time, and they had a very limited customer base. So the companies didn't actually have many opportunities for digital commerce. So we thought that there was an obvious need for technology solutions in the Turkish market. And we positioned Inveon to provide retail and consumer goods companies scalable infrastructure so that they could start their digital commerce and grow much faster than their conventional channels. And within a couple of years, we launched our digital growth management solutions. Our omni-channel commerce platforms, namely InCommerce, integrates online and brick-and-mortar stores on a single platform. This way, our customers can manage and optimize their operations and offer a seamless customer journey end-to-end. And I briefly mentioned about digital growth management solutions as a separate business line of ours, and we can call it, the brand name is Growth Lab. It acts as a plug-and-play e-commerce department dedicated experts. So these two functions, InCommerce as an infrastructure and Growth Lab as the management services, they complete each other like puzzle pieces. This way, we offer both the technology and the comprehensive know-how necessary for an exceptional digital commerce presence. And of course, with a focus on sustainable growth. Our new customers, on average, they achieve up to 83% increase in annual e-commerce revenue. And we work with many prominent worldwide brands like Watson's, the Shahuk Group, Columbia, the Coca-Cola. And thanks to our clients, we were regarded as the Deloitte Technology Fast 50 company, as one of the fastest growing companies in Turkey, and 3 times in a row. And also, just in a brief summary to answer your question, along with our Istanbul office, we opened new offices in London, Geneva, and Dubai last year. So we can proudly say that currently, throughout this journey, we became an international digital commerce partner for companies on a global level.
That's a great introduction. I now want to hop into a couple questions about COVID-19. First of all, from an operational standpoint and from a business strategy standpoint, how has Inveon been impacted by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic?
That's a tough question because we're still right in the middle of pandemic, I believe. So some of our expectations may change throughout the procedure, but until now, at least I can share our experiences and our reactions. So I guess, first of all businesses were highly affected by this COVID outbreak. So the business world was talking about technology disruption in all industries, but nobody was ready for such a global health crisis. So I believe this pandemic brought along the biggest disruption happened in the business world in the last 100 years. So in my opinion. And the technology, the digital mind, and the passion are our DNA. So we've been practicing digital and agile ways of working for many years. So honestly, that's why we could easily adapt the extraordinary conditions and carry out the operations to digital-only platforms. So, and we felt that even bigger responsibility falls on the e-commerce players during these difficult times to reach food, to reach health material, etc. And we were very aware of this from day one. So also, I'm a strong believer that our team's well-being is the number one priority during a crisis. And as leaders, it's our responsibility, of course, to make sure that the team is mentally and physically healthy. So that's why as soon as the first incident caused by COVID was announced in Turkey, we started working from home. The transition was fast and worked out easily for the team. As far as we observed, we started sending daily check-in forms to track our teammates' well-being, not physically if they're coughing or not, but also psychologically if they're alone, if they need something as well. Every week we send healthy food packages to their homes, organize only games and meetups to boost their morale, etc. And mental health was key, as I mentioned, and we monitor it well as well. So we made sure that our all teammates and customers also in good health, and we created different ways of working together with our clients as well. So we know that most of our clients are retailers and their stores are shut down, so their only breathing channel is the e-commerce operations, then they rely on us. So we completed our infrastructure and organizational change immediately, and we switched to a 24/7 communication system while servicing to our clients. And what we observed throughout this procedure, the period, I would say, we needed to increase our consultancy level in order to help our clients maintain and strengthen their customer relations during this time. So we shared our know-how about everything that could help them. We also suggested new ways of improving their operations, opening their offline inventory to online, how to use their shipment hubs in busy locations, etc. And with our clients, we started holding shorter but more frequent meetings, both internally and externally. And I think this all maintain our work and making agile decisions fast of changing circumstances. So I mostly mentioned about the relations infrastructures part of this COVID procedure, but when we look at the numbers, we saw that our grocery clients has reached up 6 times their revenue increased. While talking to them, we realized that their revenue could also increase even to 8 or 6 times higher, and the limiting factor was logistics, not the demand. And our customers in the healthcare sector or personal care sector industry, their e-commerce revenue doubled up 3.5 times on average, which was very surprising for me. We have also many clients in fashion businesses, which I would call as a non-essential category, okay? And I wouldn't expect that non-essential category will skyrocket. But if the retailer and the brand is making a good discount and making a good communication, you wouldn't believe, but their e-commerce revenue skyrocketed as it is a Black Friday promotion. We couldn't believe in our eyes. So how come those shoes are still getting bought by the consumers? How come this night dress is still getting requested by the customer? So it's a very, very interesting experience for us. But I should also mention that we've also observed some e-commerce operations that is not making promotions, zero communication, zero offers. And if they're non-essential, their revenue honestly decreased like 30-40% in general. But overall, e-commerce has skyrocketed to Black Friday levels. In a one-sentence summary, that's all I can say.
Well, people are going to buy pandemic or not, but the lack of growth for companies not offering deals makes sense. A lot of people are losing their jobs. general purchasing power is going down. So that is in line with expectations. Now, you gave sort of a good review of the short term, the immediate impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on demand and buying habits. Now I want to look to the medium or to the long term. How are you expecting new social behaviors or the way people think about buying? How is that going to change e-commerce, and how is Inveon working to service those new buying habits?
So, I mean, I should answer these questions with a general perspective of retailers and FMCG companies, and also potential outcomes in terms of consumer habits as well. So, I mean, as we mentioned, the demand for e-commerce services skyrocketed during this pandemic. And I can also say the international demand has also significantly increased. So we're not only talking about Turkey, but also our clients in Europe and the United Arab Emirates as well. So we can definitely, and I think safely say that this consumer behavior change is a completely global one, not a regional one, not a country level. And what also I observed is, although they are switching their channels, the focus always need to be on the customer satisfaction. So even they had issues in logistic operations, even they had issues in maybe reaching the clients with the correct offer, if they put their top priority to customer satisfaction, they continue to raise and grow. And I think that will be one of the main themes after the pandemic as well. So FMCG companies and retailers need to put the customer first, definitely. One interesting thing is many companies also until now didn't have any digital commerce operations, and they're certainly having a more stressful time than the others. And some of them is immediately reach to get our services if we can be quick enough to address their needs and open up a digital commerce operations. They said, okay, definitely can do it. But when we look in general, I saw a couple of trends which will be remaining even after the pandemic. First of all, grocery shopping is a phenomena which is very hard to convert it online, because it's, always requires lots of experience change, their habits already built. Even Amazon was not able to crack grocery shopping perfectly, so they need to acquire a couple of companies. So, but interestingly, during this period, the major increase came in the grocery online businesses. And after making one order another, we believe most of these habits will stay after the COVID. And I can easily say that, when we look at our platform's data, I can say 20% of the customers during this period was the perfectly new customers, and they didn't reach the e-commerce operations before, they didn't give a credit card to your site, etc. 20% is new customer, and I think this will be quite creating a shift, which is not temporary but permanent, I believe. And one good thing for Inveon and for the whole e-commerce industry is, until now, until COVID, digital commerce was a nice and cool alternative channel. But from now on, digital commerce is the primary channel, and they need to support this channel with their physical presences, with other channels, etc. So I think maybe I would say if COVID would not be happened, we'll probably need 7 more years to create this awareness and to make this change. But COVID helped this to turn this, to create this change in only 7 weeks instead of 7 years.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the companies that are now using your service and have built these platforms, they're not turning back. This is a permanent change that you're going to see. So one thing you touched on in that answer was Inveon's international growth. I'm curious, what are Inveon's ambitions for international growth, and also what domestic differences in e-commerce buying habits do you see in your different markets?
Yes. Let me share first Inveon's perspectives and the domestic different habits regarding e-commerce. So last year we opened new offices in UK, and then Switzerland and United Arab Emirates. So we didn't want to go too far from Istanbul. So there are like 4-hour flight zone is safe for us to manage all our operations with the help of our Istanbul office. And we reach out to firms in Europe and MENA that want to improve themselves on digital commerce with agile business partners. And our, of course, primary focus is creating awareness and building trust in these markets, first of all. In the meantime, we will keep working hard to strengthen our presence with local complementing parties, with ERP companies, with logistic companies that we can be united together in those markets and to serve our clients. So we believe that having those 3 major anchors in different geographies will help us to expand internationally better. And when we go overseas, we observe, of course, different habits. So a few key examples, in UK, specifically in London, I would say, click and collect ratios in e-commerce is very high, maybe even the highest in the world. I would say, of course, it changes from category, but 45 to 50, even 50% prefers click and collect e-commerce way, because their subway transport system is, quite connected, because delivery power is expensive. People do not want to pay this extra last mile delivery because people are very busy, so they prefer to create their own time. And there may be a lot of sociological or infrastructural reasons. When you look at Turkey, click and collect ratio, I would say less than 5%. So when we design our infrastructures and user experience, we definitely take those data into calculation. One thing that also, changing from market to market, in Turkey, again, I can safely say that at least 90% of transactions are going through credit card systems and payment gateways. And we have barely a few percent of transactions they pay with manual wiring or just on-the-door payment. Because banks are providing really security and safety for the end users, to consumers, so they were very easily can trust the system and give their credit cards. On the other hand, when we look at our clients in Dubai, more than half of the payments are expected to pay right at the delivery, at the door. So the credit card systems are going behind. So again, when we are designing all workflow of the system, all order management system, we should be aware that this item has not been paid yet, and it can easily be rejected. So even our communication level, the process should be changed. Those are some of the examples that we're living it today and tomorrow, very closely. This is one thing. And I think the second major thing is the active usage of digital performance channels. For example, Instagram is one of the new disruptors of digital commerce, but some of the features has not been unlocked yet in Turkey, especially checkout related integrations, etc. But in mature markets like US or UK, it's a very active enhancer of your digital commerce business. So what we need to know to play internationally, which digital commerce tools or third-party tools that can help you to uplift your e-commerce operations are active within that market. For example, in email or push notification provider is very integrated in that specific market, but it cannot be used in the other market. So we are also developing our ecosystem database, our partners database, with a geographical awareness. I mean, this is a very deep topic, William. I can definitely talk hours for it, but I know we have a short time, so I'll stop here.
Sure. It's always fascinating to see how changing social norms really drive the uptake of different services. So, Yomi, I have a final question for you now, and that's to look forward over the next 12 months. I know the past couple months have been really wild times for everyone, but if you are to look forward over the coming year, what would you identify as Inveon's most important objectives?
So I think we should start with an awareness that we are still in a pandemic, okay? And we are still making this interview throughout Zoom. Although maybe we can be close neighbors in the same neighborhood, I said we're using Zoom, okay? So with that awareness, our primary goals for the next 12 months are maintaining our team's well-being, definitely, and ensuring the growth of Inveon. Just a couple of minutes ago, I just need to talk with a colleague of mine who is in the hospital and fighting with COVID. So when a team member of us is fighting COVID, even maybe has a risk of death, I mean, it's very hard for us to think about the business details and financial details, etc. So first of all, our team's well-being, definitely. And after that, we'll keep sharing our know-how and insights with our customers regarding the present and the future of e-commerce. So we're a type of company that don't keep the information and know-how to ourselves, but we believe that we'll grow if we can share this. So we'll continue to share. We'll also organize more webinars and workshops on how retailer and consumer markets can adapt this period after COVID. And as I mentioned before, this consumer behavior and shopper personas changed a lot. I mean, we have 20% of the brand new customers in the market. I think as a competent digital commerce partner, it's one of our most important responsibilities to keep improving our products in order to meet the changing needs of our customers. So we'll be very customer and product obsessed at the same time. We need to be. And with the leveraging power of digital commerce, retail and consumer markets can overcome this period with minimum damage, I believe. We'll keep working hard to help our clients recover fast, and we know that it will not be very easy. And within the scope of our international growth plans that we mentioned before, we're planning to build partnerships with several companies over the next 12 months. We also plan to grow our customer portfolio from 2 to 3 times. I believe we're exceptionally agile and competitive in terms of generating value, and our chances are good in that sense. I'm a strong believer of that. And having Istanbul as an headquarter hub to deliver to international markets, I think is a very strategic decision in terms of currency perspective and economic dynamics. And finally, it's been repeated a lot, but I believe it's true. We are all in this together, so we'll continue to fulfill our duties in the best way possible for our customers. I mean, if they cannot survive, we'll be hurting a lot too. So we should co-survive together. So whatever the future brings, we'll make sure that we are prepared together with them. And I guess that's all I can say for now. And thank you again for inviting me and for those high quality questions.
Of course. Yomi Kastro, founder and CEO of Inveon, thanks so much.